we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom? Yes. Mrs. Spiritu? Here. Ms. Laird? Mr. Price?
Here.
Ms. Ray? Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting held June 27th, 2022, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Ray. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Bloom? Yes. Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Abstain. We still have a quorum, so motion's carried. No walk-on items tonight.
That is correct.
Legislative report. Chantel said if she wasn't going to make it today, we'll have it for the next meeting. So we'll have a legislative report in 2 weeks.
Yep.
On to the community portion. If anyone would like to address the board, if you could just step up to the podium, state your name and address, and feel free to speak to us. All right. Moving on to administrative action. So the first 2 items I'm going to bring up, since it's a board action, it's not from the superintendent or treasurer. Item 1 is to consider the approval to amend the superintendent's current contract. We've already had an addendum document signed and presented to us. That's item 1. And then item 2 is to consider approval to renew the superintendent's contract. It's recommended to approve the renewal of the superintendent's contract for a 5-year term commencing on August 1st, 2023, under the terms and conditions as set forth in the renewal contract as signed by John C. Detweiler and presented to this board for approval. Can I get a motion to approve items 1 and 2, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Espiritu, second by Mrs. Ray. Any discussion? Well, I'll speak for all of us, I guess, is John, the work that you've done so far with us has been extraordinary. So we appreciate that. And this is in response to that, to already start a 5-year contract on the end of your current contract, which ends July 31st of 2023. So next year, to get you another 5 years after that, we are deeply appreciative of that. And we look forward to working with you and getting more things done for our district. So
Thank you.
With that, roll call, please.
Mrs. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes, motion's approved. Moving on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to start off with a giant thank you for a sign of gratitude for that vote of confidence. It's been a wild ride we've been on the last first 5. Maybe the next 5 will be a little smoother. Let's hope, right?
Let's hope.
But a 5-year contract just is a compliment in this business to someone's ability. So thank you. You wouldn't have to do that. It could be less. So I appreciate that, that vote of confidence, and I will continue to do the best that I can. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just some stuff going on around the district. You've probably noticed out here, obviously Olive Ross is gone, and they're doing now the site work. If you look carefully, you can see where the bus exchange lot will be, which is where the kids will be dropped off in the middle and walk to both buildings. Also, that Circle Drive parent drop-off that comes from the front, North Street, will come around where the pool is now finished, and there'll be a drop-off for parents to drop kids off right by the front door. So much easier dismissal. All this winter, high school students had to walk all the way to behind the middle school to get on the buses. It was a long, cold walk with a strong west wind. There were some pretty cold days as they walked all the way across. So it'll be an even walk now for middle school and high school to get to the buses. So very excited about that. As you noticed too, as you walked in, I encourage you to go see the floor of the gym here and the floor of the cafeteria. They're shiny, beautiful, like a mirror. They're just gorgeous. Our custodial staff is doing a fabulous job of getting our buildings in tip-top shape for the fall. Also, out at the bus garage, we had a fire. If you remember this winter, we had a electrical short and we had fire going through there. We're now getting that work done. Took a while to kind of wrestle with the insurance company, but we do have that job underway, so we're getting that done. It's good to see that done. Also, the wind damage, we had the contractors out to look at fencing, and we lost a couple sets of portable bleachers. We're a little worried about our pits from the the pole vault pits. Took a tumble. So that wind damage is all being looked at, and our insurance agents are all over that. So that work is ongoing. For next meeting, with the board's permission, I'd like to have, with Denise's help, a conversation about our graduation seals. It's time for that to be approved, and that's the new state's plan for alternate pathways for kids to earn credits or pathways towards graduation. I think it's one of the best things that's come down the pike in a long time for kids who may not be on that typical academic track to have other ways to get credentials. So we'll have that presentation next time, and if that's okay, we'll kind of run through that with us as our work session, if that's okay.
Sounds good.
And I'm sure there'll be some more stuff personnel-wise, as there always is this time of year. So, also on tonight's agenda, I've got a really big thing there, and I'm going to ask your permission tonight, and I've talked to all of you individually about creating an assistant superintendent's position. A few months ago, Mrs. Hurt was on her path to maybe getting another job, and my blood ran cold as I realized all the things that she does for the district. And even under my leadership, I've really reorganized some things, and she's doing even more than she's ever done. So as she was on as a finalist, I thought, if she leaves, I would like to post that as an assistant superintendent's position and grow that position. But then when she didn't get it, I realized, she still is doing the work and she's doing the job. So with your permission tonight, I'd like to make that change. I think some other benefits, not only beyond her own set of skills, but then for me, if I can't be in the district, there's a direct person who we all know is making decisions if something really goes down. Also covering events. This spring, as COVID has been over, I realized, wow, there are a lot of events, many times 4 or 5 nights a week for activities. And I think having an assistant superintendent to officially represent the district will be a good thing. So I've got that on tonight, and I appreciate your support on that. And it's good to have Denise on board. I'm excited for that growth opportunity for me and for her and for the district. So I want to thank you for that. I think that's all I have from my report. If your permission, I'll continue on.
Yep.
All right. Under my recommendations, we have some donations. First of all, I'm on item 3. Am I in the right spot, Megan?
Yes, you are. Good job.
All right. We have a cash donation anonymously, Andrew and Julie Medell, French Horn, and then Safe Harbor Lakefront for a pair of scissors. So we move along first with that motion if we could get one.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve item 3, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Ray. Can I have a second? Second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom? Yes. Mr. Price?
Yes, motion's approved.
Okay. Next is item 4. This is our contract with Vanguard Career and Technical Centers for excess satellite services. That is basically our special ed support that they give us for our students that we send there. If staff available, a room for support, anything special ed students may need, this would help pay for those things. So you get that, please.
Can I get a motion to approve item 4, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes, motion's approved.
All right, items 5 through 9 are first readings of policies. These are our suggested changes that come through our School Board Association program. Mr. Price was in that meeting for our policies. Pretty straightforward stuff. Nothing here that is locally generated, mostly just response to change in legislation. So with your approval tonight, items 5 through 9 will be approved.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve items 5 through 9, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Espiritu. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Ray. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom? I'm sorry. Mrs. Spiritu?
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Mrs. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Price?
Yes, motion's approved.
All right. Item 10 starts the dance. We have to do a couple things in the right order. So the first thing we have to do, with your approval, is create the position of Assistant Superintendent. So that's what item 10 will do. Then we'll have Mrs. Hurt actually resign her position currently. And then if she's willing to trust us for about 30 seconds, we'll actually hire her. But if the meeting breaks up and she doesn't get approved, it might just be tough. But anyway, we need to do item 10 first, actually have a position in which to hire her. So if I could have that, please.
Can I get a motion to approve item 10?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Espiritu. Can I have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Second by Mrs. Ray. Any discussion? Just real quick, John, I agree with you. I think even without the people that are in place right now for the district in the future, because John and Denise are not going to be here forever as much as we may want that.
Right.
I think this position for the district is a good move. I think
Absolutely.
it's,
And for a district our size, it's really common. I mean, to have something.
yeah, it's not out of the ordinary.
Absolutely not.
By any means. So.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes. Motion's approved.
Thank you very much. Item 11 is actually a revised administrative compensation plan, which creates that line, which wasn't in our current administrative plan for an assistant superintendent, with your approval.
Can I get a motion to approve item 11, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Bloom. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray. Yes. Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
All right. Thank you very much. Item 12, it is that time of year for resignations. We had a couple last minute across the finish line, July 10th deadline people. So that's a couple of these on this list. So that following list here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 resignations. Some going to other districts mostly. Obviously, Denise is on here, but nothing drastic, just people planning opportunities often closer to home, stories like that. So with your permission, we'll get them. Moving on, though, in item 13, this is where we would actually then recognize Denise as the assistant superintendent, and excited about the future of that. Item 14, some more appointments. We have Jessica Vance, who will be a new counselor at Krogan. Catherine Carrier, history position at Ross High School. Candace Fote, Krogan, 4th grade. Sierra Gessner is Krogan, 3rd grade. Keisha Coons will be a counselor at Bishop Hoffman Catholic Schools. And Ashlis Mooney will be a special ed teacher at Lutz. On the next page, continuing that, we have 2 custodial positions, Kim Linhart and Hilda Martinez. So if I could have approval for those, please.
Can I get a motion to approve items 12 through 14, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Ray. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray.
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
All right. Thank you very much. Supplemental contracts, moving on, item 15. This is with Michelle DeBusman for assistant volleyball. As a staff member, she's in that category. Then item 16 is for our non-certified staff, Tristan Newman, Jameson Reynolds, and Julia Zucker for supplemental permissions of football, and cheerleading. The next page, we have a status change. Item 17 is for Jessica Katzenmeyer for degree step due to her increased education.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve items 15 through 17, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Espiritu. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Bloom. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved.
All right, thank you. In the curriculum area, this is our annual approval of our CCP, which is our College Credit Plus program. We have many students who participate in this program. It's been good for families and students alike. You see we listed Tara, Bowling Green, and Owens, but also any other participating institutions. There are several others that we work with, and it kind of leaves it open for us to manage that. So with your approval, we'll have College Credit Plus this fall.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve item 18, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Espiritu. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Ray. Any discussion?
me qualify that, Mr. Price. I'm sorry, this is the textbooks, not the program itself. So you've noticed it kind of sets a limit of textbook to support those kids. I'm sorry, not the program itself, but textbooks.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved. Moving on to report of the treasurer.
Good evening. The finance office is wrapping up its fiscal year end. The staff has worked really hard. It's been a really crazy year, so I'm just very lucky to have all the ones I have on staff. A lot of people assume that summer's downtime for us, but in the finance world, it is the exact opposite. They're also gearing up to do pay rate changes for our 12-month staff, and then we'll have contract changes and all kinds of stuff. So just excited for the next year. Hopefully it's not as crazy. Tonight I do have a resolution for approval for requesting certification of the renewal of the income tax. Keep it at, the resolution has it keeping it at the 1.25% that we currently have with no changes to it.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve item 19, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Espiritu. Can I have a second?
Okay.
Second by Mrs. Bloom. Any discussion? Well, I'll just say for the public to know what it is. So this is a resolution to be able to renew our current income tax at the same rate. So it's basically no new money. It's the same as what it has been for the last however many years that we've had it.
15 or 20 years, yeah.
So it is a major part of our income for our district, especially as prices go up. We see it mostly in gas costs, and I'm sure this fall, once we get back into school, we'll see it for food costs for all the lunches and everything else. So to try to keep everything in control and everything, those finances are much needed, especially as sometimes funding from the state changes and it may drop. You never know what's going to happen, and it can change every couple of years with the budget. So I know it's something that our residents do, and we greatly appreciate the amount of services that are used and completed with the money that's collected. There is just unbelievable what we're able to provide to our students and staff. So this is a resolution so that it can be on a ballot coming up, so we can renew that.
November, yeah.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes, motion's approved. Wow. 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And we're already on to board member communications.
Go through it again if you want to practice. It would be better the second time.
All right, so moving on to board member communications and information. Mrs. Bloom.
Well, congratulations to Denise becoming the assistant superintendent, and Mr. Detweiler
Thank
for
you.
becoming and staying,
Yeah.
not leaving us. So, and for the donations, there's not really much else.
Mrs. Spiritu.
So congratulations to Denise too. Happy to hear that you're moving into that position, and John too for sticking with us longer. And I mean, you guys make a great team to work together, and you
Agreed.
complement each other very well, and works great for the district. So just want to thank you guys for being with us and moving on, staying with us and moving on to another position. So, and that's all I have.
Okay. Mrs. Ray.
Kind of, I want to not welcome, but kind of welcome Denise into her new position, which is greatly earned. She's been a great asset in our administration, and I know a particular help to Mr. Detweiler.
Absolutely.
And we tried to talk him into it a little earlier, but he felt like Superman and wasn't quite ready for that yet. But he realized that he had a superwoman. So
Yes.
congratulations and welcome in your new position. And thanks to the community for all the support. Thanks for all the coming support. I know that you will continue to provide the monies that's needed for our students through our new, it's not a levy, but our new renewal. And also I have another kind of announcement. This is my next to the last meeting. I will be resigning at after the July 25th meeting from the board. I had to move on to other things, but it's just been awesome. Great group to work with. Superintendent just did a super job, and being able to be here through the building, awesome. I mean, so many things has happened in the last 5 years. So, and you're still standing tall and going for another 5. So
I'm not
bless
real
you.
tall, but yeah, I'm staying.
But anyway, thanks for allowing me, the community allowing me to serve our district and our children, and it's been quite a pleasure. And I will be in the peripheral. I'll be in the sidelines helping wherever and however I can.
All right. Well, I'm going to piggyback off everybody. Congratulations, Denise, and John for the contract. I think the biggest thing out of it is the stability issue. When you have good people in place, man, it's so much better for whatever the company is or school district or whatever to keep those people in and keep that stability over the long haul. It just creates such a great dynamic. And I think with all the work that both of you have done through COVID and the build and everything else, a lot of extra stuff. And so much needed and well deserved for the contract and for the new position. And even though you have to still work closely with John, we apologize for that part of it still. But, but so thank you to both of you for that, and all of our staff for everything that's gone on these last few years. It's been a crazy time, and now we're seeing the end of it, especially by seeing almost a yard or at least flat dirt out there in between the buildings now. So that's a big thing. So to Mrs. Ray, thank you I was one that was on the interview process when you were appointed first on the board. For everything that you brought, we knew, those of us that were interviewing, I knew you were the best one for the job, all the work that you've done in previous years. So it hasn't just been on the school board that you've ever worked with this community and the school district. It's been decades worth of work. So it just was official for the last however many years that you were actually a school board member, but that wasn't the beginning or the end of it, I'm sure. So thank you from the school board and from the district for all the work you've put in, the insight, your opinions, your everything that you brought to the table, your years of experience working with families in the community and students and everything else. It was good for us to learn from you with all of that you brought to us. So thank you for that. And we're sorry to see you go, but we understand.
Thank you.
All right. With that, if there's nothing else, there's no reason for executive session tonight. So could I have a motion for adjournment, please? Motion by Mrs. Ray.
Next to the last one.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Espiritu. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ray,
Yes.
Mrs. Spiritu,
Yes.
Mrs. Bloom,
Yes.
Mr. Price.
Yes. Motion's carried. Meeting is adjourned.